Let's take another look at graphing inequalities. So first, we are going to take an inequality and graph it. So we've got x is greater than or equal to negative 63. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to circle the number on the number line. So negative 63, I'm going to find on my number line right here. Remember that negatives work in the opposite way. A bigger negative is a smaller number. So I'm starting at negative 60, negative 61, negative 62, negative 63. If it helps to write negative 63, write it right there. So first I'm just drawing an open circle, but then I have to decide, is it closed or is it open? Since we have this little line here, this little equal to part, it's not just greater than, it is greater than or equal to, I'm going to close my circle. So I'm going to fill this circle in. Then I'm going to rewrite my inequality so that my variable is on the left and the number is on the right. So highlighting here, my variable. My x is already on the left, so I'm just going to rewrite it as is. X is greater than or equal to negative 63. And then we're going to write the inequality in sentence form. So use your cheat sheet to remind yourself, okay, greater than or equal to. So x is greater than or equal to negative 63. Okay. Then we're going to add an arrow to the graph, and it should point in the same direction as your rewritten inequality symbol. So if I look here and I see my rewritten inequality, this kind of looks like an arrow that is pointing to the right. So that tells me I am going to make my inequality going to the right, which makes sense. The values to the right are greater, they are bigger. Okay, let's look at another example here. We've got 5 is greater than x. So first I'm going to circle the number on the number line. So we've got 5, it's already written there for us. I'm going to put a circle there. We use that inequality to decide, is it closed or it's open? Since there is no line underneath here, it is going to remain an open circle. Now we rewrite the inequality so that our variable is on the left side. So I'm going to highlight my variable x. Right now, it is not on the left. So I'm going to flip-flop these. I'm going to put my x on the left, my 5 on the right. But since I flip-flopped those, I need to flip-flop my sign from greater than to less than. And when you look closely, our x was originally by the little point right there. Our x is still by the little point. Our 5 was by the gap. Our 5 is still by the gap. So we just kind of flipped it around. Then I'm going to write this as a sentence. So this symbol means less than. So x is less than 5. And then last step, add an arrow to the graph. It should point in the same direction as your rewritten inequality. So this kind of looks like an arrow. If I made this into an arrow, pointing to the left, which tells me I'm going to shade to the left. The values here are less than 5. 0 is less than 5, 1 is less than 5, 2 is less than 5, and so on. Let's look at one more where we're given the inequality and we're graphing. So we've got negative 36 is less than x. So first thing we're doing is we're circling the number on the number line. Remember, it works backwards. Negative 30, negative 31, negative 32, 33, 34, negative 35, negative 36. Looking at the symbol, decide, is it closed or open? Since there's no line underneath, it is going to remain open. Then we are rewriting the inequality so that the variable is on the left side. So I'm going to highlight, oops, my variable. It is on the right side right now, so I need to flip it around. I'm going to move my x to the left, my negative 36 to the right, and I'm going to flip my less than to a greater than. And just like I did on the last one, our x was by the gap. Our x is now by the gap still. Our negative 36 was by the point. It still is by the point. So they're still in the same spots in relation to the inequality. Write it in sentence form. This symbol means greater than. So x is greater than negative 36. And since our variable's on the left, it should look like an inequality. The inequality should look like an arrow pointing the direction we need to shade, which is to the right. All right, so that's from an inequality to a graph. Let's look at a graph to writing an inequality. There's a lot of writing here that I'm going to go through. So first off, just says write your variable x on the left side. We're going to use x every single time. So I'm just writing x right away. Then we're going to determine what number is placed at, the circle is placed at on the number line. So we've got 20, 21, 22. So the number in our inequality should be 22. So we've done A, we've done B, now let's look at C. Which way is the arrow pointing? Remember, left means less, the right is greater than. So left is less, right is greater than. So our arrow is right here, it is pointing to the right. So the right is going to be our greater than symbol. And then since it's a closed circle, we're going to put a line underneath. So x is greater than or equal to 22. Let's try that again. First thing, always just writing my variable x. Next thing we're looking at, where does this circle fall? Remember, negatives work the opposite way. So negative 70, negative 71, negative 72, negative 73. Then we are figuring out what way the arrow is pointing. So our arrow is right here. Remember, left means less, right means greater than. So right here, we have our inequality symbol is on the left. It is less than. Then last, so we did A, we did B, we did C. Is it closed? Nope. So we're going to leave it as just less than. Okay, two more. Number 3 here. First thing I'm doing is I'm writing my variable x. So that was part A. What number is our circle placed at? So we've got negatives here. I'm working backwards. So I'm going to start from 0, 1, 2, sorry, -1, -2, -3. So that was B. Now we're looking at C. Which way is our arrow pointing? We've got our arrow right here. Left means less. Right means greater than. So it was pointing to the left. So our inequality is less than. That was C. And then there's a closed circle. So that means we need to put our line underneath. So x is less than or equal to -3. Last one, start with our x. That's part A. Part B, where does this fall? So it's right in between 45 and 46. So halfway would be 45.5. Which way is the arrow pointing? I see my arrow pointing this way. Remember, left means less, right means greater than. So it should be our greater than symbol. And last thing, if the circle's closed, we add a line under the inequality sign. It is open, so it's remaining as is. X is greater than 45.5. And that is it.